What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Krinkov. All right, guys, today we're going to not rebuild but enhance or repaint or restore my old Krinkov AK47 7.62 by 39. All right, so we're going to strip this thing to the metal. All right, hopefully this shit right here can do it, and then we're going to Duracoat it, and all the components and furniture are going to be black. Okay, so I think it's gonna come up awesome. All right, I think one of the things that this firearm right now that is missing is, to make it, make it look nice, is the because all the scratches in the gun. Okay, I bought this from a friend, all I use. He didn't know what it has. It has a shell that exploded. Well, I won't say exploded, obviously, the round exploded, but in a way that the shell perfectly, got sealed inside the chamber, right? So he didn't know what was going on with the gun, because he didn't saw anything wrong in the barrel, right? As soon as I put light on it and I looked through the magnifier, I saw the line, right, of the metal round, because it was metal, so it was not brass. It was brass, you can tell the color between the color on the metal of the barrel and the shell. But he was using I think Russian those metal, Mercase rounds, and you couldn't even tell that the shell was sealed in the chamber, where the shell sits on the chamber, right? I saw it, I removed it, and the gun is firing good, right? The only thing that I don't like is the color or the type of paint that the gun has right now. Okay, so we're going to remove this. I had good experience with Duracoat. I had one of my rifles Duracoated before, and this thing lasts forever. Okay, it lasts before. That was actually the first gun that I paint, and it came out pretty good. All right, so I think this one will not be any different than the other one. Okay, so we're going to apply this on the paint, and we're gonna let it sit till all the paint come out. All right, I see some places where the paint is bubbling already. Right, this thing is toxic. You can see it's already peeling off already. All right, that's why you gotta use some nice gloves, or you're gonna feel your skin soft. All right, and that's not moisture, that is the skin, kind of like melting with this paint remover. All right, it's kind of like a gel, like an acid, I would say. I don't know, I'm not an expert, but this thing, I used it before on car parts, and this thing is crazy. All right, crazy. So hopefully we can put this, bring this back to the I want to remove everything till the metal. All right, I don't have a sandblaster, so we're gonna use this, and hopefully this can do the job. Okay, I'm gonna let it work. And actually I have a mount here that I made for my optic. And this thing pretty good. It works pretty good. It's kind of like pretty much it's gonna bubble up everything, and you can take another brush and start peeling off the paint. got it through everywhere when you want to remove the paint. And obviously I want to remove everything, so it will go through everything. Yeah, get in there. All right, guys. I'm just going to probably cut this video to the point where everything, you know, get nasty and the paint bubble up, right? And then we're going to remove everything, all the paint off, all the paint. Hopefully everything comes off. If not, then I'm gonna have to do it by hand and use some sandpaper. I want to make this thing look brand new, brand spanking new. Okay, and I think that Duracoat paint is going to do the job. Like I said, I used it before, and it's pretty good. You guys can tell here it starts coming out already. So I can check. And I want to make this thing great again. Okay, yeah, I want to make this thing great again. So I don't think you want to do this inside the room, the house. It's already smelling, so I'm just gonna put it on just for the video purposes and then bring it outside. Okay. All right, guys, the moment of truth. All right, I have stripped this thing to the metal. All right, inside and outside. There you go. It was nasty, how you guys saw in the other, in the first clip. It was nasty, all the paint inside, like everywhere, really nasty. Okay, but I have stripped this thing to the metal. There's some spots, but I don't want to put too much pressure, you know, because if not, then I'm gonna be removing metal. I'm gonna also paint the buffer tube in gray, so when I put the 4-inch here in black, it's gonna look nice, and this is gonna match with the receiver. The tube, I'm gonna paint the tube outside. Hell yeah. Gas block, side, remove the side and everything. Boom. And the retainer for the handguard, it's been stripped too. The safety. And everything is ready to go. And also, you know, got the magazines here, factory magazines, metal. So I'm gonna, if I have some extra paint, I'm gonna paint it in gray. If not, then I'm gonna wait, order another can and paint it in black. But you know, I have several Magpools, so that doesn't matter. I have all the furniture ready here for her. Once I'm done, nothing special, you know, just what is that? The fat defense, low, upper and lower. It works good for me. Not a big deal, you know. Have a 6-hour Romeo 5 with the quick release that is going to be mounted here in the mount that I made for it. And you guys can see the screws are coming from the bottom. Yeah, I made that. And I'm gonna paint it so it's gonna match like one piece. And of course, I'm not sure about this one yet, but for now it's fine. I'm going to use that, and everything else is it's already set. I got all the pieces here. I'm not gonna paint the bolt, none of the stuff. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Probably gonna polish it a little bit more, right? But for now, all factory pieces are here. I'm just gonna do a final touch with this, the True Strip Cleaner Degreaser, right? This is gonna remove all the degreaser. I don't have a professional mask, so I'm just gonna be using one of these masks and try to be carefully to not break too much. And this is a Duracoat. This is a plug that you're gonna plug in here, smash it, and it's gonna mix the two components. And you have to shake it for 3 minutes, and then you apply the first coat, you know, after 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Don't let it dry too much. Second coat, and then again third coat. So it's supposed to be 3 coats. So after I get my my main, you know, AK pieces painted, if I have enough to do a light coat on these ones, I would do it. You know, use the rest of the paint, because you have to use this at least, I don't know, I think you have like 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah. So that's the directions right there. All right, guys. We have this thing hanging already. I reapply this, clean it with alcohol and microfiber cloth with alcohol, so I can get all the dirt, all the grease off. The final touch, use gloves, right? Because your skin have grease. So, and oils, natural oils on your skin, and that's gonna get imprinted in your gun. And then when you apply the paint, it's not gonna stick well. Okay. You plug this in here, smash it. You feel the pressure release, and then you shake it for at least 3 minutes. Okay. Make sure you don't do any shortcuts, right? Just do it for 3 minutes to make sure that the paint is mixed. Remember, this is kind of like an epoxy mixture with paint, so all that has to mix very well. Obviously, the upper the receiver, just gonna grab it by the barrel, right, and paint all the insides first, and then give it a light coat on the outside. Hang it, take the other part, paint it. I'm not gonna paint it here because obviously, you know, all the paint that I'm applying to this one is gonna cross to the other part, all right? And I don't have too much space in the shed here, and I don't want to paint everything else. I remove all the bikes and everything that I have here. All right, so I'm just gonna start with this, right? Break with this and see how everything goes, and then jump from here to the other parts. Okay, don't go to the main part that you want to paint first, right? Apply it to something that is not very visible, like this. Boss stock, or it's a boss stock tube, but it's a buffer tube. Make sure you apply it to see, you know, test it first with a part that is not gonna be very visible, you know, so you get comfortable, and then go to the other parts. Okay, I'm gonna start with this one. First part. All right, looking pretty good. All right, so I'm just gonna hang it, wait 5 minutes, and then do the other coat. Okay, also I'm gonna apply with the heat gun from distance, a little hot, a little hit. All right, because the weather is changing. It's still hot here in Florida, right, but the shed is still humid inside, so I'm just gonna apply a little bit hot air to accelerate the process. Okay, gas tube. All right, remember these parts that are going inside
It doesn't require a lot of paint, right? Save your paint, right? Don't push too much paint that for the parts that are not gonna be very visible. But you know, put a light coat so you can protect it from rust, especially like AK47s that, you know, get rusty. And parts that are gonna be in the top of the other part, like this one's gonna run through the barrel. I would like, you know, to get a little bit of tightness in there. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit of coat inside, and I'm just gonna concentrate in the ring outside where it's gonna be the part that is gonna be visible in the handguard. All right, this gray is looking awesome, okay? I didn't want a light gray. I want like a dark gray, but not dark, like almost like gunmetal, okay? So this gray is awesome. I like it. With the black, I think it's gonna look really nice, okay? I'm not gonna lie, this thing started looking brand new. Yes, sir. All right. You see how, guys, I keep moving it? All right, let's do the safety. You see, guys, how I apply a light coat inside? All right. It's just to protect the metal. That part is not gonna get scratched too much, so don't waste your paint, okay? All right, now we're going to the outside portion. Light coat. So now, when I come back again in 5 minutes, right? I'm just gonna concentrate on the outside because I already did the inside. I think that light coat is enough for the inside, especially on this part right here that is gonna be inside the gun. I just wanna go, you know, provide some protection for the rust. All right. Same with the handguard, with the dust cover. I'm going to apply a coat inside, but this part is not gonna get anywhere else, right? So it's a waste of paint if I do 3 coats in the inside. So I'm just gonna go 1 coat in the inside. If it's looks good, maybe another retouch on the inside. But I'm concentrated in the outside where the parts are going more wear and tear. Well, not tear, but wear. All right, I'm going for the bolt now. The bolt assembly. All right, you guys saw already, it's a light coat. All right. I think that's enough. I'm just gonna do a little bit on the inside and then concentrate it on the outside and the charging handle. All right, that's 1 coat. It looks nice. I think maybe 2 coats for some parts, and the body of the gun maybe 3 coats. But as right now we're looking gold. Okay, everything is looking perfect. Nothing is, the paint doesn't looking like it's melting. Oh, all right. Then I'm gonna have to separate this part from the other part. I don't want any nicks. I want this thing looks like the closest to perfect. Okay, now for this one, I'm going to do the inside first, and then I'm going to spray on the details, and then I'm gonna go 1 easy hand on the outside. Okay. Yes, sir. That's enough. Bam. Looking pretty good. Okay. Like I say, I gotta get this string out of the way. It doesn't mess up everything. I think I'm gonna hold it just like this. All right. I'm just gonna go on the inside. Boom, 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 boom. On the inside. All right. I think right there. Well, a little bit there, there, and there. Okay. You guys can see I already covered. All right. I don't think you guys can see much with the light of the sun, but I already cover all the inside portion too. Right. So now I'm gonna go with light coat on the outside, and the rest of the hands, I'm just gonna concentrate on the outside. All right. Because none of this stuff inside is gonna get scratched. I think, damn, this thing is looking nice. Okay. All right, we're looking good. We're looking good, really good. All right, I think I'm gonna hand this separate here from the rest, okay? Because I remember that the bolt hit this once, okay? Now we're going to the main piece. I already feel comfortable. I still have a lot of paint, okay? I really feel comfortable, all right? I'm just gonna grab it by the barrel. Remember, I have gloves already. Make sure you don't contact with the broken glove. I just don't want to go inside, get more gloves, but you know, just make sure you don't touch it with your skin, all right? Remember what I said before, right? You're gonna touch it the inside first. Make sure you're comfortable in the inside, all right? And all the parts, all the gaps that you want to paint, slow and not too close, all right? And then you go one hand. All right, you guys can see that the nozzle drip a little bit in there. All right, I haven't painted the outside yet, so I'm just going to clean it a little bit. All right, and continue. Now, remember, when you paint it inside, you're gonna touch the outside too, okay? So if you think you're gonna keep touching the outside, no. Wait till the other second hand and give it another hand inside, and then continue, okay? You don't want to keep going inside. And like here, I already paint here, right? I don't want to touch it again there, but I'm gonna keep painting here. I want to make it even, So just keep moving, do the outside. And then on the second hand, if I, you know, still deciding that it doesn't look that good inside, just hit the spots that, you know, didn't get paint. All right, but don't concentrate too much on the even coat inside that looks smooth, all right? Because you're never gonna see those sparks unless you have OCD. All right, there you go. I think that's enough for the inside. So now I'm gonna do the back. Do the rest of the gun. One light coat. And I think we're looking gold now, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure, you know, this always happens, bro. I don't know why. Every time I'm painting something, everything slip out of the slip away and fell on the ground. Okay, so hopefully that doesn't happen today. All right, because this paint is expensive. All right, so now I'm gonna do a light coat on the barrel. Don't go too big because remember you have to fit some pieces in the top, right? And if not, then you're gonna have to hammer that down, and then that paint can stay inside, and you don't want that. So remember, you're not gonna see this. The less paint in the barrel, the less it's gonna melt when you I'm firing the gun. So just do a light coat, right? And you're gonna be fine. Remember, this is just to protect the barrel, right? Not to make a super coat on it. And you know, make sure you close the barrel inside. Paint doesn't go inside, and in the hole for your gases. Put a tape or something. Boom. I think that is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm using a fishing line, right? So make sure, right? I'm not calling you stupid, but this thing happens, okay? Make sure you don't apply heat on the core because the core is gonna melt and that piece is gonna go down, okay? So like I said, from distance, just a little bit, all right? Just a little bit from the distance. I already see one mistake, like a small bubble on it. Not a big deal, right? I can just wait till it's good to go, sand it a little bit, and do another light coat on it. Also, I see that the barrel is not covered really good. So now that I have it here, I'm just gonna touch it a little bit. There you go. There you go. And that works. Yeah. All right, moving on. So let me heat up this a little bit. Like all these bars already have 5 minutes. So let me start with them. And like I say, you know, just repeat the process. But if you already covered the details on the inside, right, you don't need to retouch that unless, you know, you're doing a small piece and you're gonna throw away the rest of the paint, right? Might as well just use the paint, but you know, you want to save it as much as you can, right? I'm trying to save it, but not to the point that I'm gonna do a bad job on the painting. Okay, I'm not a pro, but you know, it's common sense. All right, so magazine, I want to do the magazines, but if I don't have for the magazine, that's fine. I just use my mag pools, you know, and whenever I get the black paint, I do the black paint. All right, so now I'm just gonna repeat the process with a light coat. I'm gonna cut the video. I'm gonna get the mag. Actually, I'm gonna clean the mag, but you guys not gonna see all that shit. All right. So, but we're gonna clean the mag, and maybe hanging in the tree or something. Yeah. So, oh, one daughter right there. All right. So, let me show you how that looks like. All right, it looks nice, really nice. All right, the only spot that I'm going to show you guys is right there. You guys see it? Right there, that spot right there. All right, but that's nothing, you know, nothing. Obviously it's gonna get worse with the use, but you know, that's all the parts right there. Look at that buffer tube, how it looks like. You got the freaking dust cover, and that looks nice on the bolt. All right, so let me go inside. Let me clean that mag, paint the mag. So we're gonna see how that shit looks like when it's already assembled with the mag. It's gonna look badass, right? Obviously it's gonna be tomorrow, but for you guys it's gonna be in a minute. All right, see you next. All right guys, it lasts me for 2 magazines with 2 hands, okay? So I give it a slide hand first, dry it up a little bit with the heat gun, and then move to the second hand. Okay, same with the other one. It's right here, and the floors of the magazine. Everything 2 hands, inside and out. So inside, this inside, the other side first, and then the bottom part, the part that is gonna be facing outside. Okay, but it came out pretty good, really good. I'm happy. Now I'm just gonna wait to get dry, put it together. Man, I think it's gonna look awesome. Okay, I'll see you. All right guys, we're done with this thing. The day after we painted, we want one day to put it together. Obviously it's gonna be 2 weeks for to fully cure. You know, the instruction says to don't put the grease or all the other CLP stuff that can damage the paint till paint is cured. So we're just gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna be even moving the safety up and down to avoid any scratches. Okay. The only part that I messed up a little bit, you guys can tell right there, that tiny right there, right? That's the only spot that we mess it up. But other than that, you guys can see all the details. This thing came out pretty good. All right, even we paint the buffer tube, the buffer tube, all the details in the trigger guard. Man, a little bit of effort paid off. Same inside, everything inside looks awesome. The barrel, the gas tube, the gas block,
There's no sights yet. I want to see what is in the market first. I'm not gonna put anything in now. You guys can see, man, this thing is nice. All right, this is an old Krinkov made in USA. This was made in Texas for Armory USA. Heat up the camera a little bit. Armory USA. For $150, man, that I bought this for a friend. You can't beat this for the price. And a $60 can of spray paint. This thing came out awesome, man. Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. If you guys like this video, also the magazines too. The magazines came out pretty good, solid. I know this paint is gonna last a lot. I had it in my other rifle. I just don't want to make too much pressure because it's still in the curing process. All right. I painted this rifle almost 10 years ago, and this thing have beat up. I beat up this thing a lot of times, a lot of fall on the ground. There's a couple of crashes, but this thing is heavy, all right? This paint is not gonna come off with CLP or anything other than a strong paint remover, all right? I'm not making any commercials for this paint, but this thing is painted for 10 years. Obviously, it's gonna have a couple of scratches, all right? But this is a 3E can. It was black before, and I painted in FDE almost 10 years ago, man. And this thing has been holding really good, all right? So, with that being said, man, you know, don't waste your time or money using cheap spray cans. You know, there's a bunch of colors, different colors. I'm not making a commercial for these guys. I'm just happy with the product, all right? Because I tried and I'm confident that the product is good, all right? So, a little investment of $60 a can, and this is the result. This is gonna last a long time compared with other regular spray paints that are out there, spray cans. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, please subscribe. If you have any questions, comment down below. Hit that bell button so you can get more notifications when I make videos. I'll see you in the next one, okay? And stay strapped and support the Second Amendment. See you guys in the next one.